creative, we're looking for you to join our emerging writers market for filmmakers and as well as artists. Gain exclusive access to media, influencers, readers and movie lovers, host live conversations and film screenings, and promote your books and projects with us today. Don't hesitate to get started. Visit ourlitlive.com today.
You are representing everybody that is you. I represent being able to find the light at the end of the tunnel.
You gotta really be in it and really enjoy it and really want it.
And I feel like if you come into it like that day one, man, you unstoppable.
That shows people it's possible, my people, that it's possible.
And that is so necessary in a world of misinformation. This is a legacy effort.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another wonderful lesson from AAMBC. My name is Ben Robinson III. I am a writer, and I've been writing since I was little. It's been a long time. I've been writing a long time. And I love to help other people develop their craft as well as learn from other people about how I can make my craft better. And I do appreciate you taking the time to sit with me during this lesson. Today's lesson, we are going to be talking about one of the most important parts of any story. You need characters. You have to be able to find some kind of protagonist and some kind of antagonist or some kind of person going through something so that you can move the story forward. Sometimes it's difficult to find what the focal point or who the focal point will be, but I'm here to tell you, one of the things that you can do that many people, many writers have done is draw from your own personal experiences to flesh your story out with people you may know. Change the names, of course. Don't just put anybody in there because you might get sued. But you can always use inspiration from folks you've encountered, places you've been, people you've met, maybe somebody you saw on a bus one time and you just concocted an entire story based off of what you saw them doing. About 10 years ago, I told you I've been doing this a long time. I was in a writer's workshop and it was facilitated by this lady. I forget what her name is, but she was cool and she had written some stuff and she had done some stuff and she gave me some tips. And one time she gave a prompt. Prompts are also good. If you get an opportunity, prompts are also good. But the prompt was, the snow stayed in her hair longer than my I love you stayed on her mind. I wrote an entire short story off of just that one prompt. That was inspiring. It wasn't even anything that was guaranteed to make us want to dig deep. It was just like a 10-minute exercise, just write. And I ended up writing my very first short story off of that prompt. Anything that can be taken from your daily life or anything that can be taken from things that are going on in the world right now can facilitate you creating characters. So the character is the person that's going to move the story forward. The character is the person that is going to engage with the world around them. How does this person engage? What are the ways that they engage? Who are they to their family and friends? Who are they to themselves? What is their journey? What are they doing? How are they moving in the world? This is where character building comes in. And this is what my lesson is going to be about today. Think of these questions as your own writing prompt to get you to draw out exactly who you want these people to be and what situations you want to put them in to see how they will react. Have you ever read or watched something and you just think to yourself, what the heck? How did we get here? Where in the absolute did this story come from? I think we've all had that experience. These are some questions you should ask yourself before you start developing your characters. What makes a character compelling? You don't want flat, boring characters. Oh, Jim just walked in the room. He blinked. He blinked again. He breathed. And then he left the room. Who cares? Why is he in the room? Does he have a breathing problem? Does he have a blinking problem? What's going on? I need to know what's going on with Jim. Do whatever you can to make your characters interesting. Don't just let them show up and do nothing, because that's the worst thing you can do for your characters and for yourself as a writer, because you want to make sure that when people talk about your work, they're like, oh yeah, well, they had this one character, they had this one situation. You want to make sure that you put all of your creativity into every element of your story. How do characters drive the story forward? As I said previously, the character is the one going through everything. The character is the one who has to face the world, and face the issues and the problems and everything that's going on. You want to make sure that person is directing the movement of the story towards the next thing. You want to make sure that this person is doing it in the way that it speaks to their truth. It has to make sense. It all has to make sense. What makes characters feel real and relatable? This is where drawing from your own personal experience comes in, because there are times when we all meet certain kind of people in our lives. For an example, we've all had a bad boss. We've all had terrible bosses. I have had a multitude of just awful people that I could put into any story, and it doesn't have to just be in an office setting. It could be in a setting that's maybe like a wartime drama. It could be something where maybe there's a story about a neighborhood that's in disarray, and there's this person who's just power hungry that wants to control everybody. You can find ways to take your experiences and lift the experience and what you felt from that person into your character and drop them right into the story. And you already have the foundation for what you want to say. You know what it was like when you had to be in that person's presence and how they made you feel. That's more than likely how you would want them to make the other characters feel. One of the things that you're going to definitely encounter with creating your characters, whether it's building from the world around you or from an idea that you already had in your head about a certain character, they all fall into a particular type of category. This is just how it's been forever. As you know, there's nothing new under the sun, but we can always create something new with the creativity that we have inside of us. I'm going to provide you with 10 of these character archetypes. Now, mind you, you don't have to use all of them, but at some point in some way, one of these archetypes is going to be present within one of your characters. And I will give you examples. The first one is the hero, the central figure who embarks on a journey or mission, facing internal and external obstacles. We've all been the hero in somebody's story. Hopefully you're the hero on your own. You better be the hero on your own story. If you need examples for heroes, the late, great Chadwick Boseman as T'Challa in Black Panther. He was on a journey. He had some losses. He had some triumphs. But at the end of the day, he was the main protagonist, and he was the one that we were rooting for. We wanted to see T'Challa win. The next archetype is the mentor, a guide or teacher who imparts wisdom, tools, or training to the hero. I'll give you two examples for that one. One would be Morpheus from The Matrix. My man was just cool. He was like, yeah, you can do that if you want to, or you can do this, or you can do that. Hey, whatever, just make sure you learn something. And then another more probably fiery example would be Joe Clark from Lean On Me. He rode hard for them kids, but he did not play any games. He told the one girl when you found out she was pregnant, he's like, oh, you're so stupid. Your kids don't know nothing. And that was tough love. Then he tried to kill my man Sam. She's like, you on crack. You smoke crack, don't you? You smoke crack, don't you? Well, I bet you he stopped smoking crack after that because his mentor was like, yo, what is you doing? Crack is whack, sir. Let's not do this. If you're going to kill yourself, just do it now. Just go ahead and jump. That's the mentor. Their methods may be conventional or they may not be, but the main focus is that they are the guidance for one of the characters, the everyman. The everyman is the relatable character caught in extraordinary circumstances, often an observer turned participant. One example for this character is Denzel Washington in Fences, Troy Maxson. He went from days of glory to days of ruin. And anybody who's ever been through anything, any kind of turmoil, any kind of circumstances in their lives, you know that one minute you could be up, the next minute you could be down. This is one of the most relatable characteristics that you can put into your character because everybody knows somebody like that or has been that person. The everyman is 100% one of the characters that you come across in a lot of literature and a lot of stories. The shadow. The shadow is basically the villain, the bad guy, but it don't got to be a guy. The villain is the hero's antagonist, often a darker reflection or distortion of the hero's potential. We could say that Killmonger, even though Killmonger is kind of like a, it depends, because that's another conversation. We ain't gonna get into that right now, but technically if T'Challa was the hero, then Killmonger was the villain. But if we can go a little bit deeper and maybe not get so dark with it, let's think about, you ever seen the Boondocks? You ever seen Stinkmeaner? He just was evil, just angry and mad. My man went to hell and came back to cause more ruckus. No pun intended. Have you ever known somebody that just don't have no joy in their life? No matter what you do, no matter what you say, you could say, oh, good morning. And they like, good morning. What's so good about it? Okay, you have a good day. People like that. This is your villain. This is absolutely your villain. Nobody's going to root for this person. And if they do, you need to stay away from that person. The herald, the one who signals a change, challenge, or call to adventure. Now, we're going to go old school for this one, Mookie, and Do the Right Thing. Because Mookie wanted some change. He was tired of the way things were, and he was ready to let everybody know, this is some BS. We need a change in action. And he definitely brought about change. There was a lot going on in that movie, and he was the one that facilitated the change because he was the guy. He was the guy to do it. The shapeshifter, mysterious and unpredictable, and they keep us guessing about their true intentions. You ever know somebody where you don't know where they lie, where they stand, who they are, because they keep everything kind of like teetering on either one side or the other side, like Cookie Lion from Empire. There were moments where Cookie would be so sweet, and there would be other moments where she just would be evil and ruthless. And then she'd be sweet again. I don't know if she's the best example because, just in general, the Lions were horrible people. They were such bad people. But she wasn't Lucius. So, there's that. Maybe for another example, Angela from Power. She could have been Tasha if under the right circumstances. In essence, the shapeshifter is the one you just don't know. You don't know where they stand. You don't know who they really are. Only they know who they are. And a lot of times, their interests are self-centered. It has to revolve around, how is this going to work for me? How can I get the best out of this situation? And if it hurts somebody else, it ain't hurt me. The shapeshifter is kind of like, it's like water. They just kind of flow wherever. As long as they get to their destination, they don't care who drowns. Think of it like that. The ally. The ally is the sidekick. They support the hero through loyalty, humor, or skills. Classic ally / sidekick would be Smokey from Friday. Even though he was at the center of all of Craig's chaos, he did provide the laughs, and he did stick by his side. They stuck together. They were on the journey together. And then kicking it back to Black Panther, Shuri rode hard for her brother. She rode hard for him. And she did provide some funny moments, but she really was an integral part of his story. The ally sticks by the hero's side. There's no wavering, there's no faltering. There is only the two of them. They are both on the mission and the journey together. You got somebody in your life like that. Our lives are our hero's journey. And our friends that we're like real tight with, that got our backs, they're our allies. Yet conversely, in their lives, they're on their hero's journey and we are their ally. So think of it like two peas in the pod. That person that you would do anything for, they got your back, you got theirs. It's without falter, without fail. They got you. That is the ally. Next, we have the trickster. The trickster uses wit, humor, or mischief to challenge norms and spark change. Let's kick it back to the Boondocks. Riley, you got Huey, who's just super serious and sad all the time. He's basically us in 2025 back in a cartoon. And here's Riley, just the complete opposite. He don't care about nothing. He trying to be a hood rat. He trying to do hood rat things with his friends. He want to be gangster. He doesn't want to engage in any of that stuff Huey got going on. He doesn't want to engage with it at all, which, I can imagine is not easy to do when you growing up in the house and you like one of the two black people in the neighborhood. His character was very bold. His character was disruptive to Huey's story, yet he knew how to talk to Huey, and Huey knew how to talk to him as well. And they both were these kids growing up in a very, very different neighborhood than they were used to. And they had each other, but Riley's entire existence was just to provide mischief. He spoke on things because he wanted to disrupt the normalcy of everybody else's existence, which the trickster does. And they do it in a way where they just very unapologetic about who they are. That was definitely Riley. The temptress, the seducer. The temptress is a symbol of desire, distraction, or moral ambiguity. Can be alluring or dangerous. We're going to go a little bit more old school with this one. We're going to talk about Ronnie from the Players Club. Now, I know everybody loved Diamond because, Diamond was toting guns and on stage dancing to R. Kelly. I mean, Diamond was the hero. She was on a hell of a journey though. Like Diamond's journey was something else. And she came across a lot of different characters during her journey. And one of the characters she came across was Ronnie. And Ronnie was, for all intents and purposes, she was definitely a temptress. She was sexy. She knew how to use what she had. She did not care about anybody else's problems or issues. Ronnie was a menace. Ronnie, from the moment she walked into that shoe store to the moment Diamond clocked in the face and the movie went off, Ronnie was an entire menace. And she was an unapologetic menace. And that's what the temptress is. The temptress does not care about you. The temptress is only there to make sure that his or her desires are met and exceeded to their own full satisfaction. I'm just too sure you know somebody like that. I'm thinking about that person right now. That's why we don't talk no more. Nope. I can't be around the temptress. I can't be around the seductress, the seductor, the seducer, whoever, because you never know what their true motives are. You never know where you stand with them. And most importantly, you never know if you can trust them. The innocent represents hope, purity, or vulnerability, often a catalyst for emotional growth. For my example, for the innocent, I'm going to have to go with Sinclair from Living Single. You throw her in this world, this 90s kind of world, if you will, And she's surrounded by her cousin, who is just this big personality, very ambitious, very outspoken, and very ready to take on the world. Then you have Regine, who is just like, hey, I'm from the hood. I'm trying to get put on. Somebody laced me in the illest. Because it was the 90s, that's what we used to say. So I could say it here. She wanted to get, sponsored. Hey, I don't care. Like, get sponsored, do your thing. I ain't mad. And you got Max. Max was a man eater, the maverick. She was just, she was also causing chaos. Maybe she was the temptress as well. Like, but that's debatable. But then you have Sinclair, and she's just like, oh, New York, Overton. Oh my God. Oh my God. And it was awesome. And she was beautiful, and she was just so pure. This is that person. I'm sure we all know somebody who has not been tainted by the realities and harshness of this life. And you want to make sure that that character continues with that bright light inside of them, no matter what goes on around them, because it's so easy to get distracted by how our world is in disarray. The innocent one, they see it, they acknowledge it, but they don't allow it to ruin who they are at the core of their humanity. That is the innocent. Now it's time for you to break down every last one of these archetypes into your own story. But you have to use characters from the world around you. Like earlier, when I was talking about the boss that I had a long time ago and taking the situation that I went through with them and putting them in a completely different world, but using the experience I had with them for one of my characters. Just do the same thing. Do the same thing. Think about how some people use their families, their grandparents, their parents, brothers and sisters. They use them as an inspiration for characters that they create in their own works of fiction. Even in songwriting, people that have had an impact on who you are as a person. A teacher, a pastor at church, a family member, somebody from back in the day. I wrote a script about a year ago. Well, actually, no, it was longer than that. I wrote a script a couple years ago, and it was all about me growing up and a couple of my friends, a couple of my family members, and I fleshed out this entire world that was semi-autobiographical. Just capturing that time in my life when I was like 14 and trying to figure out who I was and experiencing all these feelings that I was not ready for. Those kind of moments in our lives, they really bring to the front the people that were there at the time. And there are lots of instances where we have to draw from our own lives for the characters that we put into our stories. Because our stories are reflections of the things we've been through, the experiences we've had, and the people that we've met. In some way, shape, or form, it's almost an honor to draw inspiration from the people that have been around you and put them in a story and just build a world around them and make it beautiful. Make it ugly, make it disastrous, make it dramatic. Do whatever you have to do to make the story move forward. You can build an entire world based off of the people, the places, and the things that you have encountered during your life. And I implore you to be bold, be inspired, and be creative with how you tell your stories. And if it means you have to draw some inspiration from somebody who's touched your life or touched your heart or had a big, big impact on you, I say do it. I say do it. It can be very cathartic when you write about somebody who may no longer be with us, somebody who you loved, hell, somebody you hated. Sometimes it's even better when you write about somebody you don't even like, and you can be like, all right, I'm gonna put you through hell. That's what I'm gonna do. Excuse my language, but you know what I mean. So basically, I say Use all of the tools that you have, your own creativity, these archetypes, and think about the people. Think about the people that could fit these archetypes and how you can put them into your story. We all know at least one of these 10 type of people. We all know at least one of them. And if there's some way that you can mold them into a character that'll fit well into your story, do it. And that's all I got for you today. Thank you for joining me for this lesson. We at AAMBC are always down to teach and learn and create all the time. Once again, my name is Ben Robinson III. You can find me on Instagram at Ben the Outspoken. And if you want to get in contact with me, hit me up at writer.benrobinson@gmail.com. I'm on TikTok. Hold on. Let me let y'all know because I don't know what my name is on there. Just give me 1 second. What's my name on TikTok? Okay. I didn't see that. Wait. Give me 1 second. Okay. On TikTok, I'm at Quiet Samurai 78. That's me. These are my things. This is what I have to offer. I wish you nothing but peace and joy. And I look forward to seeing you guys again for the next lesson. Peace.
If you're looking for a secure haven within the literary world, you found the perfect organization. Let's make magic together. Our space is specifically designed for African American authors who are passionate about their writings of films and books. It's a platform to stay informed about industry developments. And on Patreon, we'll share exclusive content, valuable resources, and engaging discussions and masterclasses on various subjects, ranging from film and publishing industry trends to wellness and business tips. So if you're ready to dive into this exciting community, become a member now. Welcome to our literary haven where creativity knows no bounds. Let's make magic together.